Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever podcast of India International School, IISM Volumes On, where we unmute the real you. Today, this is Mukhtar.
And Ivana.
We are here with our very own special guest, our very own alumni, Dr. Ajmal.
Well, sir, it's amazing to have you here for our podcast. So, before we begin, for us as well as for the viewers, why don't you introduce yourself a little?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. It feels honestly wonderful to be with, my schoolmates, or probably, you guys might not know, some of the teachers might know me, including Salim sir. It's a privilege to, be as a guest over here, coming back to the same school. I'm actually right now in India and having come to Kuwait since a very long time, probably since 2012, I've left Kuwait. And the first time I stepped into IIS was in 2002. Was the second batch, I guess, 2002 or 2003. It was 7th standard when I joined. So since then, things have changed in IIS, I guess. So I have no idea how is it now.
Very much.
Very much.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. None of the faces might be familiar to me. So right now, what I'm doing is a residency in cardiology. I'm in Mangalore, to be specific. It's my final year. And I have around 11 more months to go if it goes smooth. Yeah, that's about me.
We are very thankful for you. We're very thankful to you. You gave your time from your busy schedule. And
Well, that's true. And besides that, the whole behind scenes had been happening for hours right now. We skipped classes. A doctor had taken time off from his Sunday. Well, it's just, amazing to have you here. Well, with that being said, you are doing cardiology right now, like 11 more months to go.
Right now, yes, I'm doing my DM in cardiology. Finally, yeah, it's a 3-year course. And yeah, it's my final year now.
So you have been speaking about cardiology and doctorate and all those medical terms. So this question which I wanted to ask you, was medicine always a passion of yours, or it developed over time?
Honestly, I would say I never knew I would end up being a doctor in the first place during my school days, because my field or my interest always used to be in some artworks. I used to be an artist, actually. Artists can be two types, actually. It can be either a person who can draw from imagination or a person who can copy an image. I was the latter. I can see an image, I can copy that to some extent, at least for like around 90% of the image. But I moved on to photography later. That was during those days when we had N series Nokia phones. I don't know if you know those phones.
We know.
It was one of the major milestone in the history of Nokia phones before they fell down. And the phone which I had was N90, which was just released. My dad got me for some reason, I don't know. And that took me into the passion of photography. From there onwards, I had this passion for cameras, lighting, all those kind of things. But I never wanted to be a photographer as a career, actually. But then I had other passions like gadgets, all those kind of things. So mostly I would have been thinking that I would end up in engineering, which I did have. I had a thought of joining aeronautic engineering, which I dropped later. And the whole passion of medicine was actually a motivation, partly by the teachers. And Salim sir has actually played a crucial role in that, because I was not so much confident enough to join medicine, because we all have that feeling like I won't be able to make it. Even my grades were not like extraordinary. I was an average student, actually. My score during my 12th would have been somewhere in the range of 70th percentile. Percent. 10th grade was somewhere 79%, something like that. So pretty average student. My stronghold were in mathematics and biology, because I had like 90 plus in both these subjects, except I had less in like 12th standard. Rest all were like
maths.
Doctor,
Yeah,
please.
maths in 10th standard, I had like
Okay.
97, I guess.
Okay. In 10th.
97.
In 10th.
Yeah, 10th. In
That's
12th, yeah, I went back in maths. By biology, I still had like a 90 plus.
okay.
So that was the only subject we actually had an upper edge over my other subject. I hated biochemistry. I mean, not biochemistry, chemistry, right? It was chemistry back then.
Yeah.
And I
Chemistry.
did have the same hate towards biochemistry even after I joined medicine. That was the least, interesting subject to me. On
Well,
the other hand,
now,
whichever subject had a like a what do you say, a structure where you can imagine things like anatomy, that had an upper edge to me because I had more like a photographic memory than by hearting kind of things.
oh,
Photographic. That's like a superpower.
that I do. I do.
Yeah.
Superpower.
Well, now, what if you weren't a doctor? What would you turn out to be? Like, what do you guess? Like, you are not taking doctor, you went for engineering or whatever. What do you think you would be
Mhm.
right now?
I probably would have been in some kind of like editing, in a computer oriented kind of thing, like probably some video gears kind of thing.
So,
Mm,
this, what do you say, whole journey of, what do you say, being a doctor, how was it from ID card to being a, what do you say, handling stethoscope? So, how was it?
mhm.
What is the journey?
Okay. When I initially joined MBBS, I still had that feeling that I can't do it. In the first, few months, I had a feeling that I can't make this because in anatomy classes, whenever like teacher used to pick up, each vein, each artery, and they say this is this, I used to go blind. I literally was thinking, how are people actually understanding this? Until I came across something called Frank Netter Atlas. It's basically a human an atlas, anatomy atlas, basically, which was by a person called Frank Netter. He was an artist. At the same time, he was a doctor. And
Okay.
he drew the whole anatomy in an artistic way where you can visualize each artery, vein, nerves in a colorful way. And also, he also drew the sheets which were covered, or each membrane or whatever, which was translucent, like how you would see. So if it was a kind of like an opaque kind of thing, you could see the image, whatever behind that, in a way that you would see in real life. So that gave me an edge. This was something which I discovered after like 4 months of joining MBBS. So that gave me an interest towards like understanding more about the topic. That's when I tried to spend more time in the library. And I think that was the only thing that would have, you know, eased my mind of I can do it.
Okay.
But
So
still, biochemistry was still my nightmare.
that will always be. So you have been telling how medicine has been hard for you, and there are people out there who will as well say medicine is hard because of that we won't pursue it. What is one piece of advice you would give to them?
Oh, okay. Your grades in 12th or 10th does not actually translate to what you do later in life.
Hmm.
Human mind is
Noted.
something which you can't imagine. Like you can be like a average or like below average student at school, but you can be a topper later in life because in school you're doing like something that's been forced upon you. You're told to study those topics or subject which you deliberately need to do no matter what. You don't have a choice there. You don't have a choice to just study mathematics alone. Whereas when you go beyond that, from school to college, you're actually choosing what you want to do in your life. So you are studying for something for your career.
Hmm.
And then you know that, okay, you have to do this to, get through this. So then your interest is much better than the previous school days. So you will, no matter what it is, you will have to study
No.
unless you don't have a focus goal.
Well, since you spoke about school, why not we go back in history?
Sure, why
What
not?
kind of student were you? Were you the quiet type, the topper, the average, the backbencher?
Mm.
You know how
What
you
is?
told that you had a lot of interests in co-curriculum than in
Mhm.
academics, more like jack of all trades. So
Yeah,
what would you say more
not a
about
master
that?
in anything. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like I'm not a master in anything, but a jack of like multi kind of thing. And I wasn't a bright student. I mean, someone whom you pick up from the class as a bright student, but I was like an average student, like, a normal, easygoing person. But more kind of like, I would say more disciplined because of, how the parents are like teaching us to be. And that's one of the reason I was selected as the class leader during the first time. Like when Salimsa actually joined the school for the first time, he did a voting system for choosing the leader. My name
As
was the
in
one.
the school head boy?
No, class
Class
rep.
leader. Okay, yeah.
When he was seventh grade.
Oh, okay, but back
Yeah.
then.
So my name was the first one, which was, there in the initial, voting system.
Yes.
But that was not because I had better grades, just the interaction with people. So I would say I had a decent interaction with people. I had few people who were close to me.
Hmm.
I didn't have like, a huge, friendship background, but I did have like 4, 5 people who are very close to me.
Well, what about people who are going to write exams? What do you want to say to them? Like right now, we are writing boards as well. We are going to write boards as well.
Mhm.
So, what would you say?
Yeah.
How was your experience writing the board, like 12th board? And what would you give us as an advice?
Okay. For example, for everyone is going to be a tense situation because that's one hurdle which you have to cross. And that is also going to decide on what you're going to do later, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is, like, for you, there's another exam which you need to also excel, right? That's a NEET exam after that if you want to pursue something else. For us, actually, this exam would actually decide on what we're going to do. We didn't have NEET that time. We had this exam, and they used to calculate the grades calculate the candidate according to the grades of 12th board exam. And then we get, enlisted in the college. We actually gave another exam. So I was not like, too good at all the subjects, but then I had an upper edge in biology, physics, and mathematics actually not much during the 12th standard, but 10th grades were better in the science and the mathematics. So I had an upper edge over there. Apart from that, there was nothing that was actually, to be boast on my part in academics.
Okay, so when we're like speaking about academics and you're so nostalgic about coming back to your own very school, what's the
Mhm.
first thing that you would want to do when you come back?
To the school.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
ever
first thing
get
is
a
like
chance to
I
come
would, yeah, the first thing I would do is like go to the teacher's room. I want to meet the teachers who are there, who are still there when I
back.
was
Yes.
studying. And teachers are the people who actually carved you from the bottom, from the beginning, and they still, are teachers even if you leave the school. They're the people who remembers you. Some of the people actually still keep in touch with you even after you leave the school, and they become the mentors of your whole life, I would say. uh, Doing this, I would take one teacher's name as one of my, the person who actually changed my life. The person is not from IIS. Her name is Kochu Tersia teacher. She's from GIS actually. Why I'm saying this is because I came to Kuwait when I was in my 4th grade. I did my schooling from Kerala, where I was in a Malayalam medium. So when I came to Kuwait, I didn't even understand a thing what was going on in the classroom.
Okay.
This was like I came to the class, and teacher once told, do not take the scale for something, for doing an artwork, which was basically lines and circles and boxes. So I
Yes.
heard the word scale, and I thought that, oh, I'm supposed to use the scale. And I started using scale. Okay, that's how bad I was when I joined the school. But from there, this ma'am started taking tuition for me just to make me understand what's going on in school. So the basic English, basic grammar, everything from scratch. I would say she is the one who paved me, carved me from nothing to something. This happened during the phase of like 4th, 5th, 6th grade onwards, like 3 years. And that teacher never used to look at the time she spent on me. And each day she used to spend like more than like 3 hours of tuition for me. And I can never forget that. I still wanted to go back to her home one day once I finish this. Um, Even the husband, like Joji sir, who also, was taking classes for me. So there are a few teachers which actually plays a crucial role in your life.
Not all heroes
Should
wear
never forget.
capes.
Exactly.
Well, finally, the final question. Do you think school life is tougher than the adult life?
Each phase has its own pros and cons, I would say. But I would say school life is something which you will miss a lot because you're living a life with less of responsibility. Once you're an adult, there's a lot more things going on behind you. There's so much, the thought process itself is quite different. There was a time which I realized when I had the farewell during my 12th grade. I think I was feeling that I'm living the teenage life. I'm going from the
Realization.
teenage, yeah, and I'm going into a next phase. Like you have completed like 20 years of your life, and you're going into some other phase. That's actually scary, and it was actually emotional for me.
We are going to
Yeah,
experience that.
About to
We
experience
are going to
that.
experience that soon enough, right?
exactly. So
Well,
you're no more a teenager after that. And I say that once you cross that, you tend to, think about life even in a wider scale. Because, before that, you were more into fun kind of thing. Later, you need to think about like, getting your life, in place.
It gets
You
serious.
hardly have much. Yeah. I think another thing is like by the age of 30, everyone wants to be stable enough in life, right? That's a goal which everyone wants to do in life. I mean, have in their mind. I mean, focus or goals. So I would say school life is the one which you should enjoy the most. Less responsibility.
sure.
Don't take it for granted. You're gonna miss that.
Well, that was the end, I guess. Before that, before we talked, we had talked about the YouTube channel that you run.
That's a small
Remember
channel
Yes,
actually.
yes.
Humble small
Remember that?
channel.
I have a great
Yeah.
memory, not gonna lie. But yeah, what is it? What do you do?
What
It's basically
enhanced
I just started for
YouTube
teaching
channel?
purpose. Yeah, I had a passion for teaching, which I figured out only during the late years of my MBBS life, where there were few. I told you I had interest in few topics. I had no interest in few topics. Even for now, like I have least importance for endocrinology, which does not have a structure in like which you can imagine the way how it is, like hormones. Yeah, hormones are there, but
Even
can
the
you
name
picturize
itself
that?
sounds
Oh,
mm,
weird.
Yeah.
yeah.
But but the things like cardiology has a structure. You can imagine that neurology, nerves. It goes from this one to that one. The muscle has an starting place, intervention, all those kind of things. I had more interest in those which you can structurally imagine. I had least importance for things which you can't, like even like C plus O2, CO2. It doesn't have any kind of thing for me. So ECG was something which people had less interest, but I had more interest in that.
Okay.
The QRS waves, how the depolarization and all those kind of things. So I used to teach this ECG during my last year. Also, I used to teach about the valves of the heart, how the mechanism of valvular diseases plays a role in the problems of the heart. If I'm going to use the medical terms, it would be difficult for you to understand. That's why I'm saying this. So teaching was something I love doing because it also increases it increases your understanding on the same topic if you try to teach someone, because you need to know in depth to teach someone that and to make it into a simpler word or simpler what is the explanation.
Well, agreed.
So that the purpose of starting the YouTube channel was to teach ECG in the first place. I think I have made few other videos apart from ECG, like diabetes and like few. I mean, it's not a huge channel, just a humble channel, which I just make once in a while, and I have not made a video since like 2 or 3 years now.
Okay.
2 years, I guess so. Yeah.
So, with that being said, we wish you luck and hope for every future projects that you're working for, the exams you said that you're getting ready for.
Best of
And
luck.
best of luck with that.
Well, I'm truly grateful that you were one of the alumni, the first alumni,
The first
alumni to be taken into consideration for the podcast as a guest. Well, it's amazing to have you here.
We learned so much. So we
Actually,
learned
A lot.
a lot.
Not gonna lie, behind the scenes, for those who don't know, once again, behind the scenes for 2 hours, we were just yapping about cameras, yapping about mics,
Fixing
it,
system,
not yapping,
yeah.
fixing it. Okay. So let me tell you, he's a brilliant person in all technologies, everything. Okay. Camera settings, microphone, laptop, which phone to be used.
He taught us
everything.
things we didn't know.
So,
Yeah.
gonna be honest, he's an amazing person. Well, I'm truly grateful that we could have you here and learn a bit more about technology as well, a bit more about who you are. And now with that, I think we have come to an end. I guess this is the end of this video. And stay tuned for more. This is Ivana.
Mukhtar,
Well, with that, thank you.
thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.